for Mr. Vincent D'Onofrio! Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Well, hi, everyone.
I gotta know, from your childhood, we're gonna get deep now. From your childhood, what was it that kind of set you on a path to be the man that you are?
You mean
He's like, I was born? No, like in terms of your interest, your career, was there a particular thing that kind of was that piece where who you were then is kind of really true to who you are right now?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we're starting off here.
Yeah, this is not like a normal panel.
No, not at all. No, we're rolling it out
because there's a strike.
Also true. Also true.
Fuck those studios. If anything, just for screwing up the panel.
Well, the union as well.
Well, I grew up with a mom who was very kind of bohemian, and two older sisters, and then eventually with my stepdad, who was an incredible guy. He was a firefighter in Miami, and he brought me another sister, so I had three older sisters.
Oh wow.
And my dad was an artist. He was an interior designer by trade. And eventually got into theater and stuff himself. Just wherever he lived, he would start like a little community theater. So I grew up sort of like a techie, building sets,
How much of this do you want me to
sweeping up and running the lights and sound for plays in his company wherever he lived all over the country for God knows why, but he did. And then, but I didn't want to. I never even thought about being an actor. I was into magic first.
Really?
Yeah, I was a magician.
You got some fans about that.
Yeah, when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, I was a magician. And I for some reason I had a knack for it.
Yeah.
There was a Cuban couple, because I was living in Hialeah, Florida at the time. And really? Are there really people from Hialeah? Yeah, right here. So raise your hand if you're from Hialeah. Right here. Raise your hand.
Right here too?
So, really? Really?
In the back too?
I didn't realize there were so many awesome fucking people in So I was riding home on my Stingray bike. For people that don't know, too bad. And people do know. And so I was on my Stingray. We had extended forks, and right, and with a banana seat and the whole thing. Yeah. And oh yeah. And I had this friend, Arturelia, whose forks were so long. We were all said, "Those are going to collapse." And he's like, "No, you're just jealous." Shut up. Into the sidewalk. Anyway, so I was riding home from school, and there was a Winn-Dixie near my house on a tiny little outdoor kind of mall, like with maybe 10 stores or something. And this couple was moving into a place that had gone out of business, and they had this van backed up to their store in the parking lot. There was this young Cuban couple, and I'll never forget it. And they had all these boxes, and I'm looking at the boxes, and there's like flowers sticking out of them, and all these kind of weird apparatus things. And I'm like, what the heck is this? What's going on here? And I sat there and watched them, and I figured it out somehow on my own that they were magicians, and I didn't understand what they were doing there and why they were moving in. And so I asked if they needed any help to move their stuff down, because I didn't know how to engage them otherwise.
Right.
And so then I learned that they were both a magician couple that had moved, that just come in with a lot of the people that came from Cuba at that time, and they were opening a magic shop like 2 blocks from my house. And I was like, I made such good friends with them, and they said, you can come by tomorrow and help us too if you want. Like, we'll pay you $3. And so my mother was working in a diner, right, about a block from there. So I rode my bike back to my mom and I said, hey, I just met these two people, and they're saying that they could, I could help them, and they're magicians, and I'm really into it. So she jumped in her lime green Nova with 2 racing stripes.
I think every mom had that car at some point.
And she had 2 black racing stripes with what's it called when they have a little stripe next to the bigger stripe? That's the word for it. What's it called?
Pinstripe.
Yeah, that's right, pinstripes going up the hood, over and down the back. And it was an awesome car. That's the car that was my first car. She gave that car to me. Yeah. And I was so lucky to have that car, much luckier than I am now. And so she came, she drove me back. We put the car in the trunk, and my bike in the trunk, and she drove me back, and she met them, and so I went the next 3 days and helped them unpack everything, and I heard, he told me, and she told me all this great stuff, and it sort of took me under the wing, and then I didn't have the money, I couldn't afford to buy tricks, so he would give me the instructions, and I would go home and I would build the tricks,
Right.
and then learn them, and so by the time I was like 14, I was doing shows, and my mom's had saved up her money for like 5 years to get a kidney-shaped swimming pool in the yard.
Oh my God.
And she was so excited, it was like her dream. And we had this kidney-shaped swimming pool suddenly. And because one of her jobs was at Denny's, the cops and the firefighters all used to eat there for lunches. Am I going on too long about this?
No.
There's nothing else to fucking talk
This
about.
is the story. Let's go.
Yeah, so, because I don't have a job. Nor can I even talk about the job I had, right? Which is never existed at all, ever. But hopefully will exist one day again. I just don't remember what it was, so therefore I can't talk about it. It's weird how that happened. Anyway, so I had the instruction. He gave me a book about Houdini. I read the whole book about Houdini, and there was a trick, a mailbag escape trick in it. My next door neighbor was a metals maker, like a billboard maker that for the side of the highways. So he was like a metal worker sort of, but he had this gigantic shop that he owned. And then a couple of houses down was a guy who made sails for sailboats. So I went to both of them and gave them the instructions. The sailboat guy made me a mailbag, and I brought it to the metal worker to do some other stuff, and I suddenly had the mailbag trick, and with my mom I rehearsed being pushed into the pool, handcuffed and chained, and escaped from it. And then I had the 2 cops from Denny's come to my house, my backyard, and I had live at 5 there, and they, this is genius, swear to God. And I did this all myself too, by the way, nobody helped me. And the cops put the handcuffs on me, and then I had my own shackles as well. And I don't know if you know this about Houdini, but I'm gonna tell you a little something that's pretty secret. So if you can all keep a secret, it'd be great. So the escape artists back in the day, their trick was they would take the most difficult cuffs and put them on first or last, depending on how you wanted, what you thought was going to fool them. So the easy cuffs to get out of went on the small of your wrist, and the harder the cuffs were to get out, they would go up your forearm, and the bigger your forearms were, that meant that when you got the other ones on, the other ones would just slide off.
Genius.
Yeah. So guess which ones where the cops' handcuffs went?
First
On my
ones.
forearms. So I know that's an exciting story. Don't want to get too crazy about it. I don't want to say that. Got into the mailbag by the cops pushed me in, and I escaped, and I never stopped working after that.
That's amazing.
Like I did shows.
So it was like the beginning of it.
So And then my sister wanted to be an actress, and before I graduated, I got this job back when phones took cable to work, and me and my friend Elio Medina, we laid cable in this building, and we made more money than we ever made in our lives, and we took that money and we bought a Toyota Corolla. We wanted to drive from Florida to San Francisco, just the two of us, just to get away from our lives, right out of high school. No money for college, so that didn't matter. And we froze the engine up with the Toyota Corolla like 3 states away, and we ended up hitchhiking to San Francisco. And my sister had told one of my cousins who lived in San Francisco, she was moving to New York to study acting. And I heard that, so I was thinking about acting, because she had done it in high school and stuff like that, and I never did anything like that. And Elio, as soon as we got to San Francisco, he joined the Navy. He went into a recruiting job and joined the Navy, which was weird. I didn't even know he was going to do that. I just walked in and left, and he was out of my life forever. Weird. And so I went back to New York to join my sister, and then I kind of got the gist of what she was doing, and I was like, if I studied, I could probably do that.
Absolutely. And I think you've done well there.
Yeah. And so that's like basically the kid to me now.
That's brilliant. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
That's the answer to your question.
No, it's fantastic. Wow. So, okay.
You guys aren't even together. So you're just like this Croy team.
Yeah. Are y'all paid to be here? This is
Either that or you're like traveling.
You're really from New York? That's it?
Where in New York? Wow, awesome. Well, that's why you laughed when I said the Queens thing. Yeah, because you were like, duh. Queens Theater is in Queens. Yeah. It happens to be. I like beaches, and I like both. I like beaches and I like mountains. So I think it has to do with the company.
Always.
More than the place. I was just with 2 very close friends for a few days, because now we all have off, so we don't actually see each other. I don't know if you know this, but people in my business, whatever level you're on in my business, we're always working. We're always trying to get jobs, or we're studying a job, or we're about to start a job, and so we never really have time to spend with our friends, who are peers, so to speak. And if you're the kind of person that likes spending time with close friends,
Right.
we never had the time to do it. So I've been doing this sort of friend tour.
It's awesome. It is awesome. It's a great way to reconnect and use this time wisely.
Like, it's so good.
I love it.
I'm not going to tell you.
Well, this next question.
Really cool people.
Really cool. The best.
And I also met, at these really cool people's house, I met a really cool family. And there's a very cool wife, and they're very cool kids. And we talked about such cool stuff.
You would have loved to be there because it was that cool.
It was like one of the cool people I've always wanted to meet.
I love that.
And we had so much to talk about. It was all really cool.
Now, considering all the cool people that you obviously not starstruck at all.
No.
Good.
No, but I get really impressed.
Okay.
Like super impressed. Like I'm super inspired and enlightened by people all the time, because I listen and I pay attention to what they're saying. And it can be somebody that runs the craft service or the catering, or it can be this really fucking cool guy that I met the other day. And I get like I get totally inspired by people all the time. I don't get intimidated, but I also don't get butterflies.
Okay.
Yeah, like my friends think that I'm missing something. Yeah. Like there's some kind of like thing in my brain that makes me a little more mentally deficient than that. And so because I just don't get butterflies.
I think that there's a superpower.
Well, I know, you know what I say
Yes.
to that. I disagree with them, of course, about the mental deficiency thing, which I have nothing against, but that's not the reason. The reason is I'm so fucking prepared. I do my job. I'm so ready. When I hear my cue, there is nothing inside me that says don't. Everything says do.
Absolutely. From Chris, totally new that we haven't seen you do. Like some magic.
Well, I mean that would be one. If you were all children, you'd be seeing something.
I'm somebody's child. Come on.
What else? I think I'm a pretty good father. For example, I have a 15-year-old son, a 22-year-old son, and I have a daughter. I'm not going to say her age because.
Right.
But she's, she's in her 30s, and she's absolutely lovely, and she has a new boyfriend now, and he's absolutely lovely. And just my point is that they show me every day that I've made my mistakes in life, like us all, but I'm a good father because they are around me all the time. They come and stay with me. They're with me indefinitely from every day to every week to every month of the year. We stick together like glue. I never have to ask them to come and stay with me because they're always with me.
That's awesome.
And so I know from watching you guys out there with your children and my friends and my family,
Right.
I know that children like to hang out with good parents. And that's the one thing.
Yep.
Riley, make some noise for Mr. Vincent. To the front, to the stage, not on the stage.
Did you want to move closer?